Got a 2007 Camry in the shop. The red triangle is on, and it's got a P0A80 for the hybrid battery deterioration. So I'm going to go through the process of pulling this battery from the back. We're going to go get it rebuilt and reinstall it. So this is actually really easy. This is easier than the Prius because you don't have to take the back seats out. You just flip them down. The battery is under there. So we're going to start by removing the orange battery disconnect. And we're going to unplug the 12-volt battery. We're going to remove all of these covers in here, and it'll give us access to the cabling and the bolts that hold it down. So just a word of caution, like if you're not comfortable working with high voltage, you should not attempt this job because it is inherently dangerous. You're dealing with extremely high voltage of direct current, which is more deadly than alternating current. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't recommend you try this yourself unless you're comfortable around high voltage or just dealing with electricity. Quick check in from the back. Got the fan out. Interior covers are out as well. I usually take this side out, but I leave this side in on the Camry because you get access to the bolts here and there. There's 3 bolts on the other side. This is really one of the only crucial steps after you take the bottom cover off and you expose those wires. You should test it with a voltmeter just to make sure everything's wired up properly. But if everything's proper, as soon as you pull that battery disconnect, it cuts the battery in half and disconnects these cables. So you really don't have to worry about being electrocuted. On top of that, Toyota has another safety with the relays, the high voltage relays. And if everything is working properly, those relays are shut off and there should be no voltage there if the car is off. But one thing to note is sometimes the capacitors can hold electricity that's in the inverter. So again, just always check it. It's always good practice to check it. Okay, so now that we're 100% sure that there's no live voltage on these 2 leads, we're going to remove those 2. This here comes from the DC to DC charger and goes to the 12-volt battery to keep it charged. It's almost like an alternator. That needs to be removed. then we unplug this, and then that's it. We just unplug or undo all these 12mm bolts here that's holding it down to the body, and we're gonna put this plate back on and ship it to the rebuilder. Alright, so real quick before I remove this, from the back here, there was a 10mm I was holding the fan on that I did off camera. And then there's a tube that goes from here into the plastic piece that goes right here that I removed off camera. But that's it. Oh, and this little thing here goes in there. But all pretty easy stuff. I mean, the most important thing is just to make sure you have no voltage before you disconnect those wires. So these things are pretty heavy and awkward to get out, but if you have a helper, you usually just slide it forward and it comes right out. It's pretty big. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this hose plugs into the body of the car. This is a little vent line for all the cells. But I'm gonna package this up in my car, take it to the hybrid shop, and get it rebuilt and reinstall it. So in the past, I used to rebuild these batteries myself with cells that I would buy on eBay, but never really had much luck as far as reliability. Within like 6 months to a year, the codes would come back. So we just started outsourcing it to this other guy who does a really good job. We haven't had any comebacks yet. All right, it's a couple days later. Got the battery back from Hybrid Auto Repair. And I need to get this in quickly because I am behind on jobs today. So we're just gonna time lapse this thing. Alright, just wrapped up that battery install. I'm in the Camry now. I'm gonna turn the car on. I got the scanner hooked up because I've found in the past that even though the battery's disconnected, sometimes those lights still persist. So I'm just gonna check it real quick. Let's do this together. Well, it just fired up. There we go, running. Automatic ID. There it goes. Alright, let's just go straight down to HVECU. Codes. Yes. 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 Alright, here we go. Current. Alright, sweet. So let's back out to the battery. One more. Oh, cool. It only has an HVEC, so I guess the battery stuff is all in there. No codes. All we got is a TPMS light. I'll check the tire pressures. We got this thing warmed up. Been driving for about a few minutes now, 5 minutes. No lights. That TPMS light's still on. I checked the tire pressures, but probably have a bad sensor. But everything's looking good so far. I'm gonna give this back to the customer. I got another one done. Thanks for watching.